Kenya and Somalia have long been good neighbors. Over 2 million ethnic Somalis are Kenyan citizens. The Kenyan Army has deployed as part of the African Union mission to help subdue the Al-Shabaab extremist terrorists. But a disagreement over who owns territory off their coastlines threatens to sour the relationship. The issue is one of borders and how they extend. Looking at a map of the borders, one can see that Kenya sees its border with Somalia continuing in a straight line. Somalia sees its border continuing in a diagonal line. This leaves a sliver of ocean, 100,000 square kilometers, in dispute. It is suspected that there is great wealth, oil, and gas underneath. So how can they settle this argument? Well, first, let's look at what has happened so far. In 2009, Somalia had a stable government and an elected president. The two countries agreed to have the United Nations decide their borders. A Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, was signed between the transitional government of Somalia and the Kenyan administration, then under Moi Kibaki. But the Somali parliament rejected the MOU after negotiations failed to achieve a satisfactory agreement. Once a government was established and working competently, the Somalis weighed their options. In 2014, they decided to take the border issue to the International Court of Justice in The Hague. In its lawsuit, the Somali government wrote, quote, "The parties met numerous times to discuss how the dispute can be settled, but no progress was made in any of the meetings," unquote. Somalia wants the ICJ to define the boundary in accordance with the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, as well as other international sea laws. Since Kenya and Somalia had agreed to settle the dispute out of court, Kenya appealed to the court in 2015, opposing the litigation. After years of wrangling, the ICJ finally set dates to hear the case this September, which was delayed until November, and agreeing to a Kenyan request has now been pushed back to June of 2020. If the ICJ rules on this case, either one country or the other is going to get all of the territory. Kenya has appealed to the African Union to try and broker an out-of-court settlement. This could lead to the two countries sharing revenue generated from the territory. It could break it down into smaller segments, or it could find another solution that no one has even thought of yet. But expect to see a flurry of diplomatic activity to try and get this worked out. The longer the legal skirmish goes on, the longer it is until either side can start making money off the disputed area. But that doesn't guarantee any timetable for coming to an agreement. Stay tuned to ADN TV for all further developments on the maritime row.